How's it going, everybody? We're going to be doing a very quick video today on the tower because it launched early yesterday. The cooldown was messed up, so that threw everything into whack. And hey, Merry freaking Christmas, guys. It's Christmas Eve right now. I should be with my family. They're taking a nap, so we're going to get this done in one take. I'm sorry if it's scuffed. We got to get it done quickly, all right? So, Winners Peaks teams for all floors, plus how you can use your roster. We're actually going to go through all the nodes on the higher end of the scale, talk about what the problem is you need to solve, and give you a couple character options that'll help you get the first step forward. It's not going to be guaranteed, but it's going to let you kind of play around with your roster instead of just trying to emulate mine, because mine's a big roster, right? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's just talk about the event for itself real quick. It's going to last for, well, 11 days, 10 days now. The milestone rewards were actually really nice. I got a decent amount of Medusa shards from it. I think I'm 47 out of 100. I don't know if this is going to be her main event. I don't know. I'm not going to be coring for her. I'm not going to be coring for Miss Marvel. I haven't unlocked her yet either. I'm still coring for Kahori. And actually, because I've been putting every single core I get into Kahori since she got coreable, I already have her to 5 stars. And the event from Winter's Peak definitely helped too. So, yeah, we got to get through this event because it's a very, very lucrative event as far as those Kahori shards go via the milestone points. So, I do have a save squads that we're going to go over here today. I'm going to show them in action. Let me just pull them up real quick for you guys. Boom, boom. Here they are. Okay. So these are just a repeat from the last tower that I did. There are a bunch of changes to our teams though, right? We have a lot of reworked characters. For instance, Black Bolt with the Illuminati, reworked. Beast from the new Mighty Avengers and Immortal X-Men, reworked. So there's lots of these characters that got reworked. I didn't move any of them because it just worked anyway. I was able to climb all the way up to level 40 on day 1. Where I stopped, if you haven't done your first run and you're still just kind of, oh, what'd I do? I stopped simming right here at the, well, you can't see my mouse, at the Mercs from Money Team. I stopped simming here. So I do have that gameplay to show you guys. We'll go ahead and do that. And I went all the way up to floor 40 for the first day. I didn't record my day 2, which was like 3 hours after the event went live. But I'll talk you through the teams I used. They're all very safe, which is really cool. And I don't think I'll have any more gameplay coming out for this, guys. Maybe if I can record one tonight while the wife's asleep, I'll throw it up with just no audio for you guys so you can see it play out. Maybe we can do something like that. Christmas first, though. You know what I mean? You guys know what I mean. All right, let's go ahead. Let's do this. Bam. Here we go. So this is just me simming my way through. This is at ×3 speed. So you're gonna miss some things, I'm sure. I did not play any match until that Mercs match. My roster is huge though, okay? It's always safest to play these matches out, especially if you're unsure how things are gonna go. And what I would do, and I didn't, right? If you have a newer account and you don't have teams like Death Sea that we're using up here, you don't have teams like New Avengers you use, Bionic Avengers, stuff like that, which is completely relatable, right? And this is just the roster I have right now. Try and implement these newer characters. If you started building up your Mighty Avengers, or rather, if you started building up the Mighty Avengers is the war team, and your Immortal X-Men, try and use them as just the 4-piece teams, because they are amazing. And with the new stats, it's insane what they do to these nodes. It's actually ridiculous. All right, we're starting to get closer to where I actually do the nodes. Right here, this is where I start doing the nodes. It's gonna play itself out. We'll talk about it. So the big thing when you're tackling this node, which I think this is where the hard nodes start, is you want to make sure you are getting ahead of that Quicksilver. So I have Old Man Logan and I have Noir. The synergy between both of them because of the dagger buffs, Noir makes Old Man Logan go, Old Man Logan rips his team apart. It's a little bit of an overkill in this node, but if this is still your first day, we don't necessarily need Old Man Logan just yet, so you can feel free to use him here. Floor 33 will be next. This is where I'm going to use my spiders. So I already used Noir, but I have the rest of them. I'm going to throw Deathpool in there because she does percentile damage, and we're going to tunnel that Vol. That Vol is going to be the issue. You're not going to be able to stop what the Nova is going to do, right? Because he loses 20% life. He gets speed bar. He's going to do his thing. You're not going to stop that. Vol is your big threat here because if she doesn't die right away, she'll start getting protected. She'll start healing up. There's that exposed mechanic, and that could be a big headache, right? So we bring in the spiders, very fast team. They're going to just beat them up real fast. This was so beautiful. I loved this matchup because last time we had this tower, Lady Deathstrike was not reworked yet. She is now, okay? And if you built up your late Death Strike for Orcus, she smashes. So we want to make sure we rewind that rogue, and it's going to give us a crit for sure, and then everything else just kind of falls into place. Very, very easy node for sure. Next on deck, oh, hey, we got some more reworks here as well. So I have 2 villains, 2 heroes. Falcon did get a rework. He has more speed, so he's actually going sooner than he did before. Last time, that would be a lose condition. If Archangel chooses to hit your Falcon, it's over. Not anymore. So he takes that hit like an absolute champ, gets speed. Shang-Chi goes and does some rewinds, and then Skrull's just going to finish it off. This is a little bit of an overkill, but again, this is your first day. We're kind of stretching our roster a little bit. This node can be tricky. So this is the Gamma Apocalypse node. We're going to hit it with our own Gamma and Apocalypse. So we throw in Kang so we get that speed advantage. Rewind on the Rogue, and then tunnel down that Red Hulk. Your Apocalypse must be able to one-shot the enemy Apocalypse. This will happen once your Kang is like... If your Kang is too big, you can push the Apocalypse, get him speed bar, and then you lose. If you have a 3-diamond or a 2-diamond Apocalypse, hit on the Red Hulk with your Kang, Apocalypse punch the enemy Apocalypse. If your Red Hulk can be a Raider, hopefully he is, and you get good vulnerables on both the Red Hulk and on the Apocalypse, it's easy, easy, easy. The next node, oh, this was a fun one. This was the just straight Gamma, I believe. Yeah, so it's just Gamma. I realized here, oh, Red Hulk is going to have... Safeguard because there's an enemy Hulk on that team. Let me grab Ares, another new character. The Illuminati is a new team since that, and then we're going to go from here. We still have the immunity we have to deal with, but our team is so fast. It is so much damage. The buff list from a doesn't need to be as big as Captain Britain is what you see here, but from a Captain Britain is going to flip that immunity. Then you can stun the Red Hulk, and then everything just dies. And this is the power of the new teams. I have some issues with the tower floors not being like tuned up at all, but on the whole, I think it's best for this time of year, I would say. All right, next we have some sort of a Darkhold Secret Defender node, I believe it was. I don't even remember what to do here. It's in the saves quest. Ah, there we go. We grab our Orcus and we're gonna throw in our reworked Cable. Again, these reworked characters are just absolutely insane. So we got the debuffs on them, and then Nimrod, hopefully you've been able to farm Nimrod from that Battle World store with the very little currency we're like able to incur. And he's able to just completely one-shot it. And I mean, hopefully you got a bunch of Nimrod shards from that Frozen Dimension, even though that mode is a dumpster. It's just a garbage on fire dumpster. Alright, I don't know what's going to go on here. Oh, I paused the game because I was doing baby bath time, which is why I couldn't record this, sorry. What do I end up doing here? I'm starting to look at what else I got going on. Oh, I have to use Mephisto here. This node is so tough. I actually get through this node with using, I believe it's Astral, Mephisto, and Wasp. I would definitely sub Wasp out and bring somebody more impactful here to be safe. Because we are going to overkill node 4 anyway. I probably would have brought, like, Gore in here to be safer, I think. Or even bring Odin in here and use Mephisto on floor 40 instead. I would change this one up, guys. I'm going to leave the save squads the way it was because I did get it to work, and you're going to see the Astral team is so tanky. They just kind of, they take all the hits and they don't worry about it whatsoever, so it feels safe, but there's a little bit of finesse here, right? So what are we doing? We are controlling the enemy Apocalypse as quickly as possible. I did put the Mephisto special targeting the Vol. That's going to make sure Quicksilver only takes 1 turn. Red Hulk, if he gets the 5 charges, you see he is right here. He does not get speed bar, so I'm able to lap his 2nd turn with my Shadow King, get an ability block on him, and then he doesn't ult me. If he ults, it's over. And of course, we also get that exposing the Apocalypse by targeting that Vol, so Apocalypse doesn't get that speed bar when he drops below 50% life, or when he ults, he doesn't get that speed bar, that 100% speed bar to kill you. So, very important, that first attack, and then just making sure that you don't let the Morgan rewind you, you don't let the Red Hulk use his ultimate. You can kind of ignore Quicksilver because he's only doing 1 attack at a time there, but that was a rough one. This is another node that, if you have time, like if you have a little bit of time, because it doesn't reset for another 4 hours as opposed to this, hopefully, I would try and pull some of the characters we used on the earlier nodes and keep them for here. Like, I would have loved to have Agatha for this, or Moon Knight, at least one of them, right? But I end up coming here with the 3 new Night Stalkers with Silver Surfer and Blade. The whole idea here was, hey, Blade has perma kills, let's try and get some perma kills. It didn't happen. My Blade is 6 stars. It got really close. They bled out after that, and then I was floored that Invisible Woman was just punching people in the teeth, really taking some lives off them, and kind of setting up my blade and my oath to kind of clean it up. Is crazy. New characters are cheat codes in this mode, which, by the way, some of the new characters, their rework stats are on these nodes. Like, there's a giant falcon on this node. He ulted me. I was like, oh shit, I almost died. So be very careful when you're tackling these nodes, guys. All right, so this one got done. After that, floor 40. This is, see, I overkilled this one. I probably could have pushed for another floor. I just grabbed my 4 Annihilators, throw in Odin, not messing around. I don't think I had to do this. I think I probably could have went in here with just the 4 Annihilators and something else. But in this tower mode, it's not about the risk. Even if you miss the first day, there is a real chance you can still get top 100 or really, really high ranked, because people are going to mess up on that floor 50, that dreaded floor 50, and that's where you can make it up. So if you get through floor 40, 41, 42 safely on your first day, you can make it up just by being really safe and not trying to get a third, a fourth team to be beating that node 40 until somebody else finds it, shares it, and you copy it, right? This was super easy. This was dumb, and then I go and I open all the rewards. Oh, I tried to do floor 40 with Undying and Ironheart. That did not work out. I collect my rewards. I open it up. Let's see. I got from the 18 orbs. I think I did pretty good. Too fast. Can't see. Let's try and pause it. It's on times 300 speed right now. 16 shards. Okay, whatever, right? All right, so let's go to the save squads now. Let's talk floors 41 through 50. These are the teams that I use. Let me fix this screen because the stretch is crazy, though. That stretch is crazy, though. Let's go ahead and transform, reset transformation. Sorry, this is what happens when we do things live. All right, there we go. At least we got Mega Man keeping us company. Okay, so we're going to go all the way down to that Odin team. This is where we left off, right here. So for floor 41, we're going to go in between game and this. So this is the Apocalypse Pav node. And the big thing here that you need to do, guys, is you need to make sure you can control that Apocalypse so he doesn't pop off. And that Pav is not destroying you. This is also the reworked Falcon, so keep that in mind. And the Northern Sasquatch, very annoying. The Invader characters are nothing, right? So the big thing we want to do is we want to take advantage of the enemy Pav speed and want to make sure we control the Apocalypse. The cheapest team to do that is going to be this Sinister Six team you see right here. So our Vulture steals the speed up. Mysterio makes it so that the enemy Apocalypse cannot spawn with immunity. And we're able to lap that enemy Apocalypse. And Mysterio, doesn't have to be Kraven, Mysterio special will put a ability block on top of that, what you call it? The Apocalypse. You might want to play around with your ISOs for this one. You might want to have Kraven as a skirmisher here, so that he can actually, Kraven as a skirmisher and Goblin as a raider, so that you can absolutely peel that Sasquatch taunt off when he's below 70% life. A little bit of a trick there, so you can target the Apocalypse. Otherwise, you could do it like this. I got through it. It was fine. There's a little bit of RNG if Apocalypse is going to get that ability block or not. But honestly, if your team, if you brought these guys in to DD8, like I know a lot of people did because of city villain restrictions, the Apocalypse never got a turn. I pushed him to 50% life, and I just killed him before he got a turn, which was kind of bonkers, right? All right, floor 52, that's going to be the Black Knight node. This node gave me a lot of problems on the reclimb. The first team I used against it, and I mean, hopefully, you have your Pegasus team set up from when they were the raid team, or if you put a lot of work in them when they were, you know, needed for Battle Royale before Astral came out. The big thing here is that Kestrel, with her 5,000% focus on her ultimate, she will strip this Black Knight, right? And that is the really only threat on this particular node, is going to be this Black Knight right here. So if you don't have your Pegasus team build up, you can still use your Kestrel. Maybe use her for DD7, right? Make sure she's the fastest character, so she'll strip the enemy Black Knight, and then you want a character that'll come in and really finish it off. Now, if you're on day 2 at this point, Gore would be great here, right? Gore could come in with the new stats, possibly strip the Black Knight before anything happens, but then Black Knight is going to use his special, get Safeguard, he's going to regain 3 charges. That could be kind of scary. So what I really like to do here is I really like to have my Kestrel be the fastest character. I believe she's at 125. And after that, we can have some of the reworked characters come in here and really just kick ass. Because the enemy characters are all very, very slow. But yeah, if you have Pegasus, I would just throw Pegasus at it because that's going to be one of the easier options there. Hive Mind would also be pretty good here. Void Knight does have the 5,000% focus to flip the Black Knight stuff, but you're still getting hit after that, right? So if you are going to use your Void Knight here, which I'm going to be using them later, make sure that you have characters that go after Void Knight, which is a lot easier than characters that go after Kestrel, and you kill that Black Knight ASAP. So if you wanted to come in here with, say, like a Void Knight, Red Goblin, Carnage, but then we'll bring in characters that go before Red Goblin, right? Like I would probably Void Knight, Carnage would be 126. Another great 126 character would be Nova. So Void Knight would flip the Black Knight's defense up into defense down. Nova would then land a stun on the Black Knight. Then he's kind of toast, right? Then I could just bring in like really hard-hitting characters, get that Red Goblin to hit his ult, and then the symbiote characters are just going nuts. Actually, that's a great team. Void Knight, Nova, Gwenum, Carnage, Red Goblin. That would be a great secondary option for you guys. All right, let's move on over to Node 53 at this point. Oh, this one I had a lot of fun with. So I used the same team that we used on that Extreme team. So I came in here with Lady Deathstrike, rework stats, the Cabal members, and Emma. And the whole issue with this node is, if these Morgans get off, they're going to demolish your health, and if you have new characters, they'll rewind them. And then the Slayer and the Iron Patriot will demolish your health. So when I came in here with my Lady Deathstrike team, I used my special targeting the Morgan that is in the corner. I didn't get greedy. I wanted to make sure that the Lady Deathstrike special hit both of them twice. That killed both of them. The Cabal and Emma, they were just there for show. New character stats are bonkers in this. I don't think there's much of an excuse not to use this team. I know a lot of you have these guys built up for the Old Man Logan trial, and obviously for the Orcus team, and because she's just a badass, right? So I would definitely recommend doing that. Next on deck is going to be this Void Knight Dormammu team. Now, I just used Extreme with Rogue on this one. This is what I did last time as well. Everyone's got these guys built up, at least the Extreme part. If you don't have the Rogue part built up, it's a little bit more complicated. But the general idea here is that we need to strip that Red Guardian taunt, which is pretty easy to do because your Extreme team is probably giant, right? If you want to be super safe, you can switch Nightcrawler to a Skirmisher and Sunspot to a Skirmisher. Doing that is going to allow your Rogue to get in front of the Void Knight and turn me to rewind him. That's the order for me anyway, is Nightcrawler does his special, that gives speed bar to everyone who's in X-Men. Sunspot for me just kills the Red Guardian, he doesn't come back with a taunt. My Rogue rewinds the enemy Void Knight, and then I think Tiger takes a turn, but Gambit's pinging off, Forge is pinging off, Rogue ults into that Tiger, and all of a sudden people are they're starting to fall apart, and then Nightcrawler ultimate comes and cleans up. That's what happened with me. That's what happened with me like 10 times I've done this node so far, because I like to drop down and climb back up, which you see why I'm up back on floor 44 right now. That worked really well for me. Anyway. All right. The next node, floor 45. This node is really, really annoying. There are multiple teams you can use for this one. The big issue in the last one was obviously Void Knight's fast and Dormammu revives and the other people hit hard. Extreme circumvents all that. Sorry, I gotta remember, try to cover your rosters just as well as mine. So floor 45. The big issue here is we have two Miss Marvels that are gonna rewind us and then taunt. We have Goblin, who with his charge is going to be throwing stuff at us, and if he ults us, trauma, bad news. Just not great, right? And then we have counterattacks that make it difficult for us to get to the Goblin in time and use a character like, say, Weaver. That's the team that I use. It's not the team I'm going to suggest people use. I used Tangled Web, and I can't remember who I used with them. It wasn't New Warriors. It was Tangled Web, Penny, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Starbrand. It was not super safe. I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, what I would recommend is you just use your Illuminati team. So yeah, use this Illuminati team, guys, because they have the speed up on spawn. You can get the ability block on the Goblin right away, and from that, it's just kind of over. Just the ability block. Sorry, no ability block, because the charges. He's going to eat so much damage. You're going to get Safeguard with your Hank before the enemy Goblin gets to go, so you have no issue of the trauma. And then you're going to have a stun from Captain Britain, and then the AoE attack from Mr. Fantastic will lay waste to everybody. Green Goblin's going to die before he gets a turn. The hard lights are only going to go, I believe, after your Captain Britain, so the rewinds just don't become an issue there. I've heard a lot of people using this team swearing by it, so I'm gonna take that leap of faith. I do think that is the best team. This node is tough though. Don't get me wrong. It seems like it shouldn't be because it's just these guys. But no, this is a very, very tough node. All right, node 46, floor 46, I guess. Obviously, the big issue here we have is going to be the Skrull with a pre-taunt. Right, so the pre-taunt is protecting the Skrull. Skrull's popping off, very dangerous. And if we leave Vol alone, she's going to go ahead, get lots of energy, pop off big. They do have 2 heroes, 2 villains for this, so Skrull is fully activated. 6% turn meter rewind on that opening attack. We got disrupts, we got ability blocks, and of course that ultimate is just absolutely devastating. They sold us the counter to Skrull, right? And that counter is going to be your Black Knight. I tried using a pre-taunt. I tried using Undying with Doom and Dormammu. That team does work. The problem I had is I kept using abilities, feeding the Skrull speed bar, so he killed my Doom twice before he got to go. If you want to do that team, you can, because we're not going to use those characters later. Just make sure you're not putting too many debuffs out. Your Dormammu has to go for the ride. He has to be a raider, and he's got to be pretty big. If that's not the case, these characters, you're going to have them big, right? Because we've got our Battle World team, aka our Temporal Dimension team, and of course, the one, the only Black Knight. Black Knight's going to do the majority of damage to Skrull, but he's not going to kill him. This Skrull is definitely supercharged. What ended up happening for me is my Ancient One went. My Ancient One is 6 stars, though. I got super lucky on her Pity Orbs. My Ancient One wiped the entire board. So, like, Black Knight was doing his thing. Like, the Astral team is slow, right? So, he's doing his thing. He's popping off. He's hitting people here and there. I'm always like, okay, Stranger's going to revive people, worst case scenario. But then the Ancient One went and just killed everybody. And that's what I just got to say. Once again, new stats are dumb. They really are. This next team is where I used Hive Mind. There are other options for this one. The whole issue with this node is basically just the Rogue, right? Rogue at 127 speed, getting her taunt up with all those nasty buffs and the Safeguard, you can't really get past her. Then you have these other guys kind of whittling you down with Yellow Jacket doing a lot of damage, like a pretty scary amount of damage. Hive Mind completely negates that. So if you go in with Hive Mind, you put the ability block on Rogue, she's going to basic you, and then what I do is I use my Carnage, and I just go and I hit the Yellow Jacket. That gives me speed bar, and then I just kill everybody. You could greed out if you put the ability block on the Rogue and she gets the defense down. You could use like Carnage Special or Carnage Ultimate on the Rogue, even though the barrier is going to happen from the Cosmic Ghost Rider. That's enough to kind of push the Rogue if you built them for Orcus difficulty 3. And once Red Goblin goes, it's just over. So you could do that. If you're a psychopath that built up the Death Seed team, you could also use Death Seed on this. You want to target the Icarus, get the blind on him, and then you want to use the Archangel Ultimate, and if you get a kill from there, you'll win, which is insane. But it does work. I did it before. I tried it this time and it failed, so I'm definitely not going to recommend it, but it can work. All right, floor 48. Oh, this is a jerky node. So there's a couple options you have here. This is the team that I've used multiple times to get through it, and it's going to be 3 new warriors with your Eternals here. You can do this. I would probably switch it up at this point. I would probably take out Deathpool and put in Cable. Because Cable's going to give you 5% speed bar now, because the big issue here is just getting ahead of that Vol. If we can get ahead of that Vol, and we are not stuck behind this pre-taunt, we can absolutely just dumpster this team. The Eternal flips, really nice. The damage from Firestar, if you built them up from Crucible, is really big. So that it's kind of a luxury team. I don't think you need to use that team. If you just have, like, we haven't used Tangled Web technically yet. You could try and use Tangled Web here. The problem, obviously, is that you're going to let that lizard pop off on you. And you wouldn't be able to stop that, right? Because you have Spider-Verse characters. This is also where you can maybe start looking at using some of your newer teams. You use your Night Stalkers here. I didn't end up using Night Stalkers for the rest of this, I don't think. If you have your Immortal X-Men built up, I think they would do really good here with the way Storm is now. She's so cracked out, right? So this is where you probably want to start eyeballing some of your newer teams that you've built up and just abuse those stats. Because this node is not particularly interesting. It's just about killing that Vol and not getting stuck behind all these taunts. It's really all it's about. And with your new stat characters, you can actually survive hits from these guys, which is pretty interesting. So I would look at my roster if I were you, and I'd play around with that a little bit differently. This Eternals team, though fun, and they did fix the turn order, I believe, because my Icarus goes first. It works good because we get to put the bleeds out with Firestar, Deathpool spreads them, then everyone bleeds out. It works good if it works good, but sometimes that Firestar, at least last time, was jumping before Icarus, even though they have the same speed, Icarus has speed up. And it would get ugly if that happened. It'd still be possible, but uglier. Alright, that brings us to floor 49. So we got a Dormammu here. We have 2 Secret Defenders. That's the big threat here, is that you're going to get stuck behind the Miss Marvel taunt, and all the revives, you don't kill anybody. The Pandapool gets a really nasty taunt up, and you start dying because these guys hit incredibly hard. Incredibly hard. Well, if you've been building up your Secret Defenders because, you know, Strange kind of brought new life to them, this is your time to shine. So Miss Marvel with more than just the one member will go first. Rewind the enemy Miss Marvel, and then you just kind of start popping off. So Black Cat is going to take the revives off. So like, why are you using Gore? New character. I use Gore here. He just absolutely shredded the enemy team. He's so fast. I think the whole team died except for one Sasquatch before they got a turn. It was pretty impressive. Yeah, Gore did a lot of damage, and then the Robbie Reyes, he got some permanent kills, which I guess didn't matter because they had lost all their revives anyway. Gore passive popped off, and it was done. And so it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that node. That, again, you could probably look at using, like, Man-Thing with Blade there, with maybe 3 Secret Defenders if you want, because you'll still go first, you can still rewind the enemy of Miss Marvel, and then Blade, he's got just a devastating ultimate with lots of blinds, so you'd have a lot of control there. So that would be like another potential option. And that brings us to the final floor. Floor 50, which I hear can actually be different based on your TCP or when you made your account. This node is just the Mephisto node. If you have Darkhawk here, which I think is cool they did that, because I'd rather more people finish the tower than not. If you have Darkhawk here, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be really easy for you. Bring in something that controls the apocalypse, and you win. If you have to deal with this Mephisto, I think we have a lot more options now. So the 2 that I used is I used Orcus with Odin. I don't know how safe this is. It felt super safe. The Orcus team spawns with immunity, so they don't get any of the Mephisto debuffs. And then Odin can't get in trauma, so the second he doesn't assist, he's kind of in the clear, right? I didn't even use Scientist Supreme Ultimate. I used her special to flip my Odin's debuffs into buffs. And then after that, my Nimrod ulted, and that popped off my Odin's assist, and then I think he went after that. And from there, he had his battlefield effect up. The Apocalypse did get to ult, and he did punch my Odin, and my heart stopped for a second. And my Odin, because he was at full life when it happened, and he healed up the initial damage from the Apocalypse punch because he does his passive, right? He just laughed at the Apocalypse face. And then Odin mowed everyone down. It was very easy. And the final team that I have here, we have 4 mythic characters, because if you don't know, Odin's Mephisto's kit only puts the expose, I believe, on the 2 enemy characters. I'll go ahead and save this. The 2 enemy characters with the highest damage, I believe. So by bringing in Mephisto, who's obviously awesome, and by bringing in Ultimus, it lets your Apocalypse and your Skrull keep getting their speed bar. And so they just pop off with Old Man Logan, and you just kind of run laps around the enemy team until people start dying. It is important to use the Mephisto special targeting the Apocalypse here, which is very easy to do because you're stuck on this Juggernaut taunt, and because you're stuck on that taunt, he's adjacent to the Apocalypse. So you will get it. Just don't greed out. Don't use the Mephisto basic on the Juggernaut. Use the special. Make sure if that Apocalypse does reach his ultimate, which he probably will, he's not going to follow up with an attack right away. But let me go back here just so I can show you the proof is in the pudding here. It's when he's is empowered, right? Empowered. It's when he does this. When this character loses empowered, clear vulnerable from himself, apply 2 turns to self and all allies, blah, 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 blah. Apply the battlefield effect, mark Mephisto. Where's the exposed part? Where's the exposed part? Is it on the ultimate? Oh, here it is. On defense, apply exposed to the 2 mythic enemies with the highest health. It's not damage, sorry, it's health. And so because we have Ultimus with his rework and we have Mephisto, they have way more life than do Apocalypse and Super Skrull. And so they keep getting their speed bar. And so Old Man Logan, he just takes so many turns. Your Apocalypse starts punching people in the face. It's a good time. Anyway, this video was way longer than I needed it to be. I need to go make a Christmas video for my wife. Excited, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Hope this helps you guys. I will try and get some footage for floor 41 to 50, or at least multiple attacks on this floor 50 for you guys. Let me know how you feel about this tower. The rewards seem pretty decent, right? The fact that the tower wasn't changed, it's boring, but it also means more people who couldn't complete it last time will this time. And that sense of accomplishment, I think, is fun for the community, and I celebrate that. And also, it's the holiday season. I talked about this in Temporal Dimension. I don't want to feel forced to be looking at my phone today. Definitely not tomorrow. Definitely not on New Year's. Like, this is running all the way through New Year's, right? Like, I want to be with my family. So the fact that they didn't change anything, our new characters are kind of making it a little trivial, but it's that little dopamine hit of fun. I had fun with it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But for now, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, have fun. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.